Did you know that a computer power supply can not only step down voltage, but also step it up? Look, I'm taking a 220-volt lamp and connecting it to the power supply plug, then connecting a 12-volt battery to the low-voltage output wires. And then the lamp lights up. To achieve this effect, we'll have to dig inside the power supply. It doesn't matter if it's working or not. Any will do. We disassemble it and remove the circuit board. We'll need the following parts: 2 high-voltage capacitors at the input of the power supply. I have 1000 microfarad 200-volt capacitors here. But if you have different values, that's okay. They can also be used. A choke. Sometimes there's just one, sometimes there might even be 3, but it's best to get the largest one. A high-voltage, alternating current film capacitor. In my case, its capacitance is 3.3 microfarads. Yours may be different. It can also be used. A cooling heatsink. You can use any kind, preferably a larger one. And the most important part is the transformer. You'll also need parts that can't be removed from the switching power supply. These are 2 12-volt stabilizers, preferably 1-watt ones, 2 IRF3205 field effect transistors, 4 FR302 switching diodes, 2 560 ohm resistors, and 2 10 kilo ohm resistors. The schematic for our device looks like this. This is a step-up voltage converter. The circuit is self-oscillating. No microcircuit is required for its operation. The circuit is powered by 12 volts. But this is not a requirement. The supply voltage can be higher. It can also accept 20 volts. The positive terminal is connected here, and the negative terminal here. High-frequency alternating current is taken from the secondary winding of the transformer. The load is connected here. Now I'll tell you how to make inductor L1. Or rather, we already have it. It just needs some modification. The factory power supply choke has 4 windings, giving it 8 leads. 2 windings are thick and the same cross-section. The third is thinner, and the fourth is the thinnest. I'll remove the 2 thick windings. They're the shortest and have the fewest turns. As for the other 2 windings, one thin and the other slightly thicker, I need to determine which has the most turns. I'll keep the longest winding. So I removed the 2 thick windings and left the remaining thinner ones. It turned out they had the same number of turns, so I connected them in parallel. Although, as I said earlier, I could have left just one, but with 2 wires the cross-section will be larger and the wire will heat up less. The inductance of my coil was 40 microhenries, but yours will have a different ring diameter and a different number of turns, so the inductance will also be different. But the generator should still work. Note that the transformer has a primary high-voltage winding and a secondary low-voltage winding. The primary winding has only 2 terminals. This is where we'll have the high-voltage output, and the secondary winding has many terminals. There will be a low-voltage 220-volt input here, but we'll only use 1 winding, which is connected to these terminals. Note that this is the thinnest wire, with only 1 strand. And here, at the terminals, there are multiple strands. We don't need them. The transformer's secondary winding also has a bundle of wires called a braid. This is the middle connection between the windings. We'll use it too. We assemble all the parts according to the diagram, and then we'll have a device like this. It's best to solder the capacitor as close as possible to the secondary winding terminals. I placed the inductor on a heatsink to prevent any damage to the heatsink, and I taped it there. The positive 12-volt supply is soldered to one end of the inductor, and the other end is soldered to the transformer braid. Please note that I mounted the transistors on a single heatsink, but they are not directly connected to the heatsink, as they are connected to it via thermally conductive pads and dielectric plastic washers. I also took the pads and washers from the power supply. If you use the transistors without them, you will need a separate heatsink for each transistor, and they should not touch each other. It's time to test our circuit. I connect a 220-volt incandescent lamp to the high voltage side, the primary winding of the transformer. I connect a regular 12-volt lead-acid battery to the low voltage side of the circuit. The circuit starts working immediately. The filament of the lamp glows. Now I'll turn off the table lamp to make the lamp brighter. The circuit works perfectly, but the lamp isn't as bright as I'd like. Therefore, to increase the circuit's output voltage, we need to come up with something else. To increase the output voltage, we need to attach a small circuit consisting of just 4 components to the transformer's output, to its primary winding, 2 diodes, and 2 capacitors. This circuit is called a voltage doubler. Only now the output of our converter will be direct current, not alternating current. This is the small device I ended up with. I'll connect these 2 wires to the transformer's primary winding, where I previously connected the lamp. Now I'll connect the lamp here. This will be the positive terminal, and this will be the negative terminal. Let's see what we've got. I've already connected the lamp to the output, and now I'm connecting the battery to the input. The lamp immediately starts to glow, and notice how bright it is. This is much better than last time. Now let's see how much voltage our converter actually produces. Instead of the battery, I'll now use this ZK5KX converter. From it, I'll supply 12 volts to the input of our converter. I've now connected a multimeter to the output of our converter. I'm supplying current to the input of our converter. And, as you can see, with an input voltage of 12 volts, the output is 194 volts. At idle, the converter consumes 282 milliamps. Now I take an incandescent light bulb and connect it to the output of our converter. Under load, the voltage immediately drops to 144 volts. To ensure the bulb glows at full power, we need to increase the output voltage of our converter. To do this, we can increase the input voltage. From 12 volts, I'll increase the voltage to 20 volts. Now the output voltage has increased to 232 volts. And the bulb is now very bright. This incandescent light bulb should be 60 watts. The converter display shows that our entire converter, including this light bulb, consumes 70 watts. I reduce the voltage to 12 volts and disconnect the lamp. And here I forgot to show what the output voltage is when I apply 20 volts to the input. It's 274 volts. This is without a load at the output. I'll lower the input voltage again to 12 volts. Now I'll take another load, a fluorescent lamp. The lamp also lights up and shines quite brightly, although the power isn't at maximum. From 194 volts, the voltage here has dropped to 170. I'll set the input voltage to 20 volts. Now the lamp shines very brightly, and its supply voltage remains at 256 volts. At 20 volts, this lamp and the converter consume 26 watts. I disconnect the bulb and put it aside. I turn off the converter. And now there's no voltage supplied to the input of our converter. But please note that the voltmeter still shows voltage at the output, so the wires need to be short-circuited briefly to discharge the capacitors, otherwise you may get an electric shock. Now let's summarize. The circuit runs on 12 volts, but its output can only reach 220 volts when idle. To achieve 220 volts under load, a higher voltage must be supplied to the input. The output after the diodes is direct current, so any load cannot be connected there. Only equipment with an internal rectifier diode bridge, similar to pulsed power supplies, fluorescent lamps, as I connected, and LED lights are suitable here. You can even connect a phone charger. You can also connect regular incandescent lamps or simple heating devices. However, alternating current motors should not be connected, even if they are very low power, like coffee grinders. Also note that the circuit emits a barely audible high-frequency whistle during operation. It's coming from the transformer. This is normal, so don't worry, and don't pay any attention to it. That's all for today. If anyone has any questions, please ask in the comments. Bye everyone.